Hi guys, welcome to another Learning Electronics Repair video. We have a GPU today. This is a MSI GTX 1060, 3GB. And the guy who sent me this sent me a nice letter with it. So this is a subscriber's card. He's telling us, I'm sure you can read it quicker than me explaining, but I'll basically explain. So he had it installed in a Dell workstation. Because of the size, it was squeezed under the cover, but working fine. So I assume it doesn't fit properly because of the size of the workstation. After some time, whenever I hit the desk accidentally, the workstation was on the desk, the GPU started crashing, and you had to restart the PC. Or it forced the PC to restart itself, okay. He didn't care, carried on. Then it started doing the reset thing every so often, or no, very often. Plus, every time it restarted, the GPU was not detected in Windows. It was impossible to reinstall the driver, and you had to reinstall Windows, and it would work again. At some point, he flashed the BIOS. I'm assuming using the BIOS update utility rather than taking it out and using an EEPROM programmer. Nothing changed. He goes on to say, after he reflashed the BIOS, nothing changed. The GPU was still working. Whenever he hit the desk or touched the workstation, it was losing the connection. And then he had to reinstall Windows to make it work again. Then one day it's totally gone. So when he starts the PC, you can see it's, oh yeah, the monitor light comes on but no picture, nothing at all. Black screen, the power is on the GPU, the fans are running but no picture. It's changed the thermal paste, somewhere started to put more paste on, but it didn't help, and no other repair attempt. So, let's see if we can get this working. I think the first thing we'll do is open it up, do a visual inspection, which is the best place to start. We'll take some resistance measurements, and if everything looks okay, let's power it up and see what it does. I've taken the heatsink off. All the thermal pads seem to be present for the RAM. Yeah, they all seem to be there. There is quite a bit of heatsink compound on here, so I would say that the person who said to add more heatsink compound probably didn't really understand or take any notice of the symptoms. They just, you know, randomly thought that would fix it, yeah? So I think we'll clean that off, actually. I use some isopropyl to clean all that up. And then we can have a look around it. But initially, I mean, not using the microscope, just the overhead camera, but initially, I don't see anything particularly obvious here on this side, at least. But it's more likely, apart from burnt components and such like, it's more likely to be a problem on that side if some components are being knocked off the board, maybe. But we'll clean it up, and then we can have a quick look under the microscope, and we can have a look around it with the resistance meter as well. That looks nice and clean now, so we'll get this under the microscope and have a look around to see if we can see any obvious problems. And if we don't, then we can, as I say, measure the resistances. If they're okay, we'll try it. Nothing much in this area. Don't really see any problems there so far. So go down and come back across a bit. Shout out, guys, if you see something. Comments below. Okay, anything around here? Looks pretty good. Again, that looks pretty good. Did I see something there? No. So all the capacitors seem to be present on the substrate for the GPU. It's not being abused in any way by the looks of it. It looks nice. So I can just zoom out a bit. Now I'm on maximum zoom out. Let's have a look down here. So this is the controller for the multi-phase VRM, most likely. Nothing much in this area to see, guys. It's okay, 4 phases there. Let's have a look at around the area here. Yeah, looks okay. Looks okay. All looks okay. Fingers nice and clean. Okay, let's look at the other side. Just have to adjust the focus slightly. There we go. So we should be checking all the small capacitors in this area. Make sure these are all okay. Yeah, looks alright. Yeah, a little bit more focus. It's a bit difficult when you're doing this because the card's high up at one end compared to the other end. Let's go across this way. Yeah, everything looks alright there. Not so many parts on this side of the board. Don't see anything broken off. There's another block of components here. Again, I don't see anything broken off. Not much behind the GPU, some capacitors, all looks okay. And then there's a few bits just over this side, adjust the focus. There we go. Yeah, it looks like every other capacitor was missing by design. And this little bit of stuff here. Yeah, that looks okay. Let's see what we have. First things first, as always, power rails, 12 volts coming in. That looks okay. First 3 fingers, and the 4th one in from this end is the 3.3 volts. Looks fine. So they're okay. 12 volts up here. One side will connect to ground anyway. Those two connect to ground. This one doesn't. Yeah, that looks like that's the 12 volts coming in. Yeah, 12 volts coming in. They'll come into this inductor anyway. And there's 2 low value resistors here. Could be current sense resistors. I'm pretty sure we'll find it's also on here. No shorts. 95k. Yeah. So no shorts there. Let's have a look at the VRMs, the derived rails. We have one here. That's fine, there's no short there. It's reading in tens of kilo ohms. This one, yeah, into kilo ohms again. This one into the 1.5 meg. There's another low value resistor here. Looks okay. And then we have the phases here. So if I switch it upside down, I can get to the coils. That's as good a place to test as any. .32 ohms. This is low. So this is almost certainly the GPU. Reading quite low. And this is probably the memory controller or the RAM phase, 30. So that's what we have. The one over here is going to be on the 12 volts. Already measured it anyway. I'm just looking at the other side of here. Just, yeah, I think you can clearly see if you look. So these 3 are all connected together. That's all 3 phases on the core supply, and this one you can see is separate. I want to reach 30 ohms. RAM is Samsung, so 30 ohms, if that is the RAM supply, is quite normal, I would say. Samsung reads lower than some cards read 60 ohms, 90 ohms, but that's quite normal, I think. So everything there looks okay. I think the next thing we'll do with this is connect it to our test rig and power it up, and let's just see what it actually does. I have it connected up on the test rig. I'm just using the adapter, which is the right way round, so you can just easily get to things. I'll power it up. I've got my monitor attached, so it may well give us a picture if we're lucky. I'll just start off with VCore. Let's see if it actually... Well, we have VCore, that's a good sign. So on these ones, that looks the same actually, probably memory controller. I don't have a picture at the moment. And it appears to have gone off. Let's see. Yeah, it's a little bit warm. I've put a little bit of thermal stuff in here. I can't find the pad I normally use, but these will help. I'm guessing the pad I normally use is stuck to a faulty GPU somewhere. I will find it, I no doubt. Let's just put it back on here, just give it a bit more cooling. And let's try again. So we'll power it up and we'll switch it on. Well, interestingly, the first time we had VCore, but now we don't. Just make sure my meter lead hasn't fell out. No, we don't. Do we have anything else? Don't seem to have anything for some strange reason. That sounds like something wrong with the test equipment. Let's go to ohms range. Switched off. Yeah, meter's not working. Let's have a good contact to ground. The meter is working. I must not have a good contact to ground, that must be it. Let's just try again. Yeah, resistance to ground. I have a good contact now, so we'll go back to volts range. Sometimes this happens, guys, and you have to just make sure your test equipment is actually working. Power on. Let's have a look. .733 we have. 0.733 we have. So on this one, 5. On this one, 12. Nothing on the screen, I will say. I'm sure there's some voltages I haven't found, but I just want to check how warm this is getting. I actually got a bleep out of it at that moment. It's not hot. It bleeps. I don't know if you heard it, just as I switched off, it bleeps. That suggests I might have some sort of RAM fault on this. Let's try again. Okay. See what happens this time. So last time I definitely got a bleep after a certain period of time. Wait. I could have sworn I heard it bleep. Yeah, there, bleep. And something's happened to the screen, I think. The blue light came on the monitor, but I don't seem to have a picture. I think it's actually detecting the onboard video. I suspect this might have a RAM fault. Yeah, it's just a bit warm. It ain't hot. I mean, I can put my finger on it. Yeah. I'm not totally sure. I have the right voltages on this card. we can just power it on again. So we need to put the power supply on and then press that. Okay. So we have, this is definitely the core voltage, 0.733, which seems a little bit low, but you can live with it. This one reads the same, but this phase is not connected the same as those ones, or it's not connected to them. There's a separate phase and yet it reads about the same voltage. There's one down the back of here which I didn't get to, and this one isn't really reading anything, but we get a bleep. I've got the same thing, I've got like a blue light on the monitor but no picture, yeah. And this one down here doesn't seem to have any voltage on it. What I can't find to start off with is the RAM voltage. Let's just see how warm this is getting. Yeah, it's just a bit warm, it's not hot. Put our bits of stuff back over it. I'll power it up without that for a moment so I can just get to this one. I want to know where the RAM supply is. So again, power on. We'll get a good ground. We're on. What's on this here? Nothing. Oh, 1.8. We do have 1.8 volts. Yeah, that's 1.8 volt supply. But that, it's not the RAM supply. That should be something else, I'm sure. I think the way to figure out where the RAM supply goes to or comes from, if we measure off here, we go into resistance mode or even continuity mode. Okay. Does this go to the capacitors up by the RAM? Because it doesn't seem to be the right voltage. I expected 1.5 or 1.3 maybe. I don't expect 1.8. It doesn't go up to these capacitors around here. It obviously doesn't go to these. Let me see if I can find the RAM supply. So let's put something a little bit smaller on here just to give it something to conduct heat into. I'm going to have a quick look to see if I can see what voltage is on the capacitors around the RAM. I'm interested to see what the RAM supply voltage is basically. So again, we'll switch on, we'll power up. Let's have a look around these capacitors. 1.39. Well, that seems right for RAM. That one doesn't read anything. 1.39. So we do have a RAM supply coming from somewhere, but where? It don't come from here. This is the 12 volts with the phase coming in, I'm sure. Yeah. This is the low side. And we get that bleep, we get the blue light but no picture. Okay, so we seem to have a RAM supply of 1.39, it's close to 1.35, but I'm not exactly 100% sure where it comes from. It doesn't come from this one, does it? Am I reading the wrong one? Let's have a look. I mean, it makes sense it comes from somewhere. Power up again. What's on this one? Yeah, that's where the RAM supply is. Oh, and I've now actually got something on the screen when I touched that. It's rather strange. Let me switch it off again. I won't touch the MOSFET. We'll switch it on. Let's see what it does. We wait. Yeah, we wait. We keep on waiting. And I think eventually it will bleep. We have that 0.73. We're still waiting, yeah? It bleeped. And we get a blue light, but no picture. What's on the RAM supply? 1.39. Now let's try what we did before. Switch it off. I'll just see how hot this actually is. It's warm, but it's not hot. We'll just put this back on again. I'll try what I did before now, which effectively is to switch it on and check the RAM voltage pretty much straight away. And it seems maybe it was just a random thing. So I can go onto the RAM supply. Yeah, hit the button. 1.39. Okay, it was a random sort of event, I'm guessing, that we actually got a bleep in the picture pretty much straight away. We wait. Bleep. No picture. This is a little bit unusual, this, because it seems to be intermittent. Like, on occasion it will work. We can, well, yeah, let's give it another go and see if just by flexing it a little bit we can actually get it to operate correctly. So I've got the heatsink on. Just push on it a little bit, just give it a little bit of pressure. Let's see if it works. The difference being that when it does work, we give like a bleep quite quickly and we get a picture. That didn't even give me a blue light, but maybe the monitor wants set into HDMI. No, it's on HDMI. Okay, switch it off. Just give it a little bit of a flex and try it again. This ties in with what the owner was saying, that if he tapped something on the desk it would go off. Yeah, that gives a bleep a bit quicker. But I'm not getting any blue light on the monitor even though I have the HDMI connector attached to it. This basically seems to be intermittent, so if we give it a little bit of pressure we can try that. And just rest our heatsink on top of it. And let's see if it works. I've connected the DVI rather than HDMI just to see if that makes any difference as well. I'll put the monitor onto DVI input. DVI. Well, let's see what it does. Well, it's taken quite some time, and I think it just detects the onboard video. Yeah, it's not doing anything at the moment. Okay, this time it's not detecting. Ah, yes, I just should have waited longer. The blue lights come on the monitor, says DVI, but no image. That's like a RAM fault, very much so. Switch it off. Just push it. Thing is, if it's a RAM fault, it shouldn't be intermittent, if you know what I mean. RAM chips either fail or they don't fail. Maybe this is one of these cases where warming it up or reboarding it might actually do something useful. Let's go again. Yeah, once again, takes a long time. Bleep. Light on the monitor, but no image. And we can have a quick look at the voltages. We'll just use this one because it was the easiest just to grab. Ground. And this is the RAM. Yeah, 1.39, which is close enough to the 1.35. And the vCore goes up to 0.81, so that's quite normal for the vCore to go up a little bit when you start a graphics card. I'm sure if I try it a few times I will get it to work. I'll pause the video while I have a go. Yeah, so about 3 or 4 more times I actually got it to boot up. What I'll do is now I'll just switch it off without touching anything. Okay, let's just switch it off and I'll restart it again without effectively trying not to touch anything. And let's see if it keeps on working. Yeah, so again, one bleep pretty quickly. You saw the splash screen. It's there, it's working. Power off. So I can try this a number of times and I reckon it'll work. Touch it. Yeah, bleep quite quickly. You saw the splash screen. And I'm assuming we can continue doing this as much as we want until I flex the board again. Okay, fourth time in a row. Yeah. Shall we make it 5 out of 5? There's bits of tape around the edge of this, by the way, so it won't short against anything, even though it's leaning over a little bit. So rest this back on the GPU, and we'll try again. Five times out of 5. Yeah. Let me now just try and flex the board a little bit like I just did. So I basically just effectively just very gently did that with it. Okay, let's see what it does. No, okay, it's working this time. Let's see if I can make it not work. So we'll just take this back off again. I'll just kind of like flex it slightly that way. Okay. Let's try that. Looks like now it's not going to work, which really proves the point. Yeah, takes a long time. Eventually will bleep, but no graphics. Yeah, eventually bleeps. Blue light is on the monitor, says TVI, but no graphics. Then we'll take it. So I kind of like flexed it that way. Let's go this way, and this is what seemed to make it work. Yeah, blip straight away, and there we are. The question is then, how to find where the problem is. I mean, I could try a few things here. I could just try heating it up, but unless I heat it up to the point where I actually melt the solder, I don't think it's going to help any. I could try removing all the RAM and then reboring and replacing the RAM. That might be the best way to go with this one. I'll have to speak to the owner first and explain that if it goes wrong and doesn't work afterwards, then that's what happens. It could be a defect on the PCB. This is, you know, I think a tricky one, to be quite honest. What I will do though, I'll put it back together and let's see if we can get it to work when it's back together. If we can actually load the drivers and get it to run. If that's the case, then it's going to be down to some sort of reballing job, I think. But again, with no guarantee. Interested to know what you guys think. Anyway, let's put it together and let's see if it actually does work. I've put it into the PC. I've connected the HDMI again. But I don't see any reason why I couldn't just connect the DVI. I mean, I've had it working with both previously. It bleeps straight away and we get the splash screen and it's coming on. We can just switch it off. I want to see if I can load the drivers. I'm not going to mess with the card and try and make it fail. I'm actually going to see if it reliably does this whether or not I can actually load an operating system and get the latest driver, and we can run some benchmark. Again, it's working. So let's try and load the operating system, and let's see how far we can go before this fails. Okay, it loaded Windows first time for my test drive. I think you can probably see there, if you can't read it clearly, it's version 5.1.2.95. So the driver was actually already loaded. This is a motherboard I use for testing graphics cards. I think that's possibly the latest version, but I haven't actually checked. Let's run the Heaven benchmark and see how well this works. I've left it at whatever the settings are it's chosen. Let's run. It's just found my keyboard actually. I've got a new keyboard for testing. It's a bit smaller than my full size one. Picked up at the car boot sale for like €1. Let's see if Unity actually wants to run. Yeah, it's running. So I'll leave that going for a while, and let's see how stable it is. And I'll try hitting it with a screwdriver or something gently with the top. See if we can, or banging on the desk. Let's see if we can actually replicate the fault that the user has. Okay, that's been running for about 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. Let's see then if we can make this fail by banging on the desk. Yeah, we can. So that's what's wrong with it. Now, I suggest, yeah, it's definitely stopped. And it's crashed out. Okay. The only real difference between what the owner is saying and what I've just found is that if I restarted the computer, it's just working again. We can just try the same trick again. Not totally temperamental, but it seems a bit better this time, but obviously it failed previously. Yeah, so it's definitely got issues. So what we're going to do with it, I always make videos with customers' cars when they send them in, even if I fix them or not, or I make a quote. So the way I work is it's no fix, no fee. If I can fix it for €45 or less, I'll just do it, and the customer pays a return postage. In this case, I need to get a stencil. We can have a look to see how much that's going to be. These are the stencils for the GPU if I'm going to rebuild the GPU. So we're looking around about €6.50, rough €6.90 for that. Call it €7. It's as near as damn it really. We could try reballing the GPU. I could try the same with all the RAM chips as well, because when it was failing previously, it did seem to act like it had faulty RAM until I flexed it and then it worked. For those of you who are shouting out, put it in the oven, I don't believe that will help. Unless we're going to melt the solder, we're not going to fix the problem. That's my opinion, but I'm interested to see what you guys think. But I would just point you to this page on badcaps.net. So this explains what's called bump gate, which was a defect in NVIDIA graphics chips that effectively caused this myth, or whatever you want to call it, about stick it in the oven, it will work. And the problem was actually a manufacturing defect, and it goes back to 2007, 2008, up to about 2010, when NVIDIA actually paid a settlement to various card PCB manufacturers, motherboard manufacturers. This graphics card is from around 2016 or later. It's not going to have this problem. This was fixed a long time before this card was made. So I don't believe sticking it in the oven will help in the slightest. So basically with this to repair, it's going to be a case of €50 for my time and work to remove all the chips and refit them, plus the cost of a stencil, 57. So that's what it would cost if I was charging to repair it. And I have to say, I have no guarantee that it will fix it. It may well do, but it may well not do. It may well make it worse. So that's the offer. That's how I see it. Pay the money and take the chance, in which case I need to order a stencil, which will probably take about 4 weeks to get here. But hey, I'm happy to give it a go. Yeah, if the owner wants to try it. Alternatively, I offer no fix, no fee. I haven't fixed it. If the owner would like it back, then pay the return postage, which is about €20, and I'll happily send it back to you. It does work. Just don't move when you're using it. Yeah. And the third option, to be honest, I've looked on eBay for used listings for faulty ones. They seem to fetch around about average about £40. So if the owner wants to let me keep it, and I will pay him the difference less the return postage, since you haven't got to pay the postage, so €20, something like that, and I'll keep it for spares. I can't think of any other options on it, but that's what the comments are below are for, guys. Yeah, what the comments below are for. Either A, try to fix it, you know the price. B, send it back, you know the price. 3, I'll keep it for parts, you know the price. And D is what you guys say. Okay, so hope you kind of enjoyed it. You can see what's wrong with it. I don't have it working at the moment, and I'm sure there'll be a lively discussion about it. In the meantime, I'd just like to say I'll see you all soon on another electronics repair video, and ciao for now, guys.